A couple of queers just sitting on our orange couch named Tangerine. We're a couple queers, we're a couple and we're queer, and we're gonna talk to you about stuff. That's our theme song.
Hey, y'all.
Hi.
I'm sweating and a little bit cranky because it is hot as hell in our house right now.
And we don't have air conditioning.
No, it's a problem. It's an
I
issue.
know. I have a little bit of a headache too, so I'm going to drink water. Drink water. Everyone drink water right now.
Yeah.
I just downloaded this app called the Finch app, and it's actually really good for people with ADHD. And one of my reminders on there is to drink water. I've already checked it off for today though, because I've already had to remind myself to drink water. But it's a really cool app.
Imagine you don't drink any water. It's like drink water, but it's like I drink water as soon as I wake up. I drink water every 10 minutes.
Sometimes it's hard to hear yourself to drink water.
That's true.
I used to never drink water. That's a lie. I drank water. I didn't drink as much as I do now. Not nearly as much. Remember that?
Yeah.
You had to remind me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just baby barfed.
Oh my God. Ew. Lauren just puked.
I drank a little too much
into
water.
the microphone. You're welcome.
Anyways. Sorry if that was triggering. It was triggering for me.
To the emetophobia girlies, the girlies who have a phobia of vomit. That's me.
I'm sorry.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to
A Couple Queers. My name is Keara.
And I am LAVREN, but you can call me Lauren.
And we are a couple.
Yeah, and we're queer.
Hence the name.
Yes. We're also really neurodivergent.
We're neurodivergent as hell.
Which is kind of what we're going to talk to you guys about today. Well, not kind of. We are going to talk to you about...
That's fully the topic.
About that today. By the way, if I say guys, I do not mean it in any gender way.
No gender at all.
No.
So in the past couple months, Lauren and I both have gotten clinically diagnosed with stuff.
Willow, you okay? She's okay. Yeah, she's good.
Willow was just making a choking noise and we got really scared.
Yeah,
but I think
she's good.
Yeah, she just ate, so maybe she ate too fast.
Probably.
So anyways, back to neurodivergencies.
Yes.
I am autistic officially. And Lauren is ADHD officially.
And OCD.
Oh yeah, I also have illness anxiety disorder, which I think is under the umbrella of OCD, because it kind of you're doing the same thing. You have looping thoughts and then you have compulsions, but it's all based on just health anxiety. So anyways, it's been a big year.
Still self-diagnose as autistic as well. Haven't gotten that diagnosis. Don't know if I will. I mainly got my ADHD diagnosis to try medication because it's affecting my daily life a lot, and my OCD. Honestly, I think the whole the whole point of me going and getting a diagnosis was honestly to get the OCD diagnosis, to show myself yes, I have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of just being I don't know, struggling inside your head, not knowing why you have certain thoughts and stuff.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now that I know, although I kind of diagnosed myself with OCD.
Well, first of all, if you go on my YouTube channel, you can literally see the whole vlog of me documenting my autism diagnosis process. It was a couple months long of a process, but essentially I decided to go private because going public through the public Canadian healthcare system, it would have been free, but the wait list was going to be 2.5 years to get my diagnosis. Long. And so I was okay, I'm going to actually invest in this. I don't mind paying the money to see a private psychologist, and I'm grateful that I had the money to do so. And the process, it was exhausting, but
it was long.
It was long.
Lots of waiting,
but very worth it in the end. if you live in Ontario and you're interested in who I got diagnosed by, her name is Dr. Gail Goldstein. She's based in Oakville, I believe. And my diagnosis was around $2,000.
And it was all online.
It was all virtual over Zoom. And there was a lot of like forms I had to fill, like a ton of like forms, and they call them measures, but basically they're like kind of like quizzes asking you about your mental health. Like I literally, like she looked for everything under the sun. She looked for like anxiety disorders, OCD, ADHD, depression, autism. Like she looked for all of those things. And the only two that I got were autism and health anxiety, or illness anxiety disorder, technically.
Mm-hmm. But you had to tell her that you wanted her to look into everything.
Yeah. Like initially,
at first she was just going for autism.
Yeah. Initially, I just wanted to get diagnosed with autism. But then she saw that I have like a family history of like a bunch of other things like ADHD, OCD. Like my family members have like struggle with those things. So she was like, I want to, if you want me to, I will like see if you have other things. And I was like, please tell me.
Yes.
Do it.
So it would have been cheaper if you just did the autism then.
Yeah, because it would have just been 1-2 hour Zoom call pretty much.
Yeah.
But I ended up doing an extra 1 hour Zoom call to talk about other things. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was literally like going through my whole childhood and my whole life and telling her like how my life was like and how like my functioning was and my behaviors as a kid and my interests as a kid and the way that I would play and the way that I would interact with others. And yeah, it was like a lot of thinking back to when I was a kid and if this, has been an ongoing thing for me, because like with autism, you're born with it. So like there would have been childhood signs for me. Mm-hmm. And there were, but my parents were just not educated on autism at all. Yeah. They didn't know like that high masking exists. With Gail, I feel like she really made me feel comfortable and like able to unmask around her over Zoom. And so that's why she was able to see my like autism behaviors.
Yeah.
The lack of eye contact, the stimming, the fidgeting, the way that I talk. She was able to like see that all.
Yeah, so it's more conversational and like more personal.
Yeah.
Than like if you were to like go through another, whereas like my ADHD diagnosis was so cold and not very empathetic.
A lot different. Also, like you got diagnosed in
50 minutes.
50 minutes. That's crazy.
Along with OCD. And then he was 50-50 with social anxiety disorder. And I was like, in my head, I immediately knew. I was like, that's because I'm autistic. Like he couldn't like pinpoint that it was social anxiety disorder. Like I think he ended up like going with it just so that it's on the record. But like I think he ended up telling my doctor that I have it. But I was like, this is totally my autism.
Yeah, because you can't just diagnose autism in 50 minutes. Like that has to be like a lengthier process. And also, I don't think the guy that you went through was like a autism specialist.
No, I don't think he was either. Like he knew of it and he didn't rule it out. Like I told him I was self-diagnosed and like he didn't rule it out, but he would just basically like we were running out of time. We didn't have enough time to do that. But how do you feel since getting your diagnosis? Do you feel like it helped you? Do you feel like it allowed you to like answer more questions about yourself? Like how did you feel like after getting the diagnosis and then now, just so like people who are interested in getting a diagnosis to like kind of like everyone's different, but you know what I mean, like to see what they can expect.
I think with me, since I was already self-diagnosed for 2 years, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't shocked. I was kind of like, this confirms everything that I've already known.
Yeah.
And so it was just very validating. And that's what I wanted. I wanted someone to be able to validate me and say, yes, this is true. Like what you're feeling is not fake. You're not making this up, because I thought I was making it up. And I think that's like the best thing that the diagnosis gave me, was that just having that clarification and the confirmation that yes, I am autistic. Yeah. And that allowed me to just be so much more empathetic with myself, knowing that, hey, like if I'm burnt out, like don't keep going. like stop, slow down, like take a breath, take a breather, take a break, like, you know, prioritize what's most important to you. Because I think that I had my energy in all sorts of different directions, and I was doing a bunch of different things, and I just recently got sick, and then Lauren got sick like last week. But that was kind of like a realization of like, okay, I'm not honoring myself. I'm not honoring my autism and my limitations as much as I don't like to think that I have limitations. Like I do. I have limited energy resources. Autistic people do. And
so it kind of allowed you to like take yourself more seriously.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, because I feel like being a self-diagnosed person, like I can definitely sometimes get in my head some days and be like, what? Like, no, I don't struggle with this. Like, I don't need to take a break. Like, I'm chilling. But it's like actually like, yeah, Lauren, you need to take a break.
Yeah. It's like ignoring those little signs, those little inklings of like, why do I feel like I need to be caffeinated all day? Because I don't have any real energy to spend. Right. I'm just running on caffeine. Oh my God. It's me. Literally me.
We love Miss Coffee. Sometimes you'd be giving me anxiety.
I've been drinking coffee, I was telling Lauren the other day, for 10 years, every day. Since I started doing Lost and Found, like the reason I started drinking coffee was to keep up with the demanding like on-set schedule of filming Lost and Found, a TV show that I was in.
It'd be like that.
When I was 16. And then after that, like I just started drinking coffee every single day. And like I still love coffee. A lot of people are like, you know, getting off coffee or like against caffeine now. And like I get why, because it can be just dangerous in the sense that like you're creating fake energy that your body doesn't even really have. So like it could lead me into being burnt out.
Yeah. I like have been trying to get off of it, or just like, I'm not trying to get off of it. I'm just like not taking it as much because I've noticed for me, it's made me so anxious lately, and it like changes with how my nervous system is. Like lately I've been like so anxious and so in my head about everything that put coffee into the mix, and I'm like freaking the fuck out even more.
It doesn't help.
And so I've been like kind of stopping drinking coffee, especially on days where I'm anxious.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love coffee and I drink it every day. And
I love the taste so much.
It's one of like my simple pleasures in life. I'm such a fucking mom. I'm such a coffee mom. It's one of my simple pleasures in life is a cup of coffee every morning. Aww. I look forward to my cup of coffee every day.
It's cute.
But it's true.
Good.
And it doesn't always make me anxious.
I look forward to a joint almost every day.
I look forward to a joint right after this.
Yo, actually,
we're going to celebrate episode 2, season 2.
Season 2.
Baby.
You're going to be seeing more of us. We've decided to take this more seriously.
Yeah.
Because a lot of you have came up to us saying you love our podcast.
Yeah.
And we're listening. So, and we love our podcast too.
Yeah.
And we kind of like, since we're going through all these like diagnosis things the past few months, that's why we've kind of been like a little bit like off of it. But we've both kind of came to the conclusion that this is like one of our favorite forms of content, and we need to start doing things that make us happy and not like forcing ourselves to like do stuff that makes us tired.
Can we talk about TikTok for a sec?
Sure.
Because I think that TikTok was also leading me into autistic burnout.
Yeah.
Chasing the algorithm and like constantly feeling like you're never doing enough, and how TikTok, it's like, it's just an endless stream of content. And then you feel like, oh, if you don't post every day, then you're getting out of the algorithm, and then you're going to ruin your momentum. And like, you know, if you don't use trending sounds, and like, I don't know, like how have you been feeling with TikTok?
I've been feeling anxious specifically right now because I have a video that's getting a lot of attention, and that always makes me scared because I have a lot of eyes on me, and I need to like get used to that.
Welcome to the world, baby.
Yeah. So I've kind of been like, I need to like set a boundary with it and not be on it. Also, I've realized like I've put in a lot of effort into a lot of my TikToks, like, well, every single TikTok. And we have this motto with our OnlyFans content, which is like, you price it at the price that you feel you are worth. That way you're getting what you feel you're worth. Does that make sense? Like, it feels like a good reward when I'm talking about pictures and stuff. Like, yeah. And I feel like I haven't been getting my reward from the effort that I'm putting in to my TikTok.
Valid.
And because of that, it's making me want to do this podcast more because this is so fulfilling to me.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't feel fulfilling right now. And I think there's a lot of important things to talk about and stuff like that on TikTok. But yeah, right now I'm a little burnt out from it.
Me too.
If I'm being honest.
Me too.
Yeah, especially with my like ADHD brain, like I get the dopamine with making it and posting it. And then when I see that like it doesn't do as well as I wanted it to, then like that's when like the dopamine just crashes and then I get inside my head and like it happens like almost every day.
Yeah.
And like, so what's more important, me keeping my peace or me continuing to chase the algorithm?
Yeah,
you know?
I know. Yeah. It's been even more of like a reality check being diagnosed with autism and being like, okay, like I literally have a disability, girly. Like I have limited energy. I got to prioritize what is most important for me to pour my energy into.
Yeah.
And not spread myself too thin. And I wonder, do you feel like it's the same with you and your ADHD?
Yeah. I feel like I don't know when to slow down.
Same.
And then when I'm crashing, that's when I'm like, okay, I need to slow down, but I still can't slow down because my brain thrives on moving. My brain thrives on activity. Having ADHD. By the way, like we can talk about my ADHD diagnosis. Your girl has 18 out of 18 traits to get diagnosed. So this is so true how you would only know that I have autism if you really sat down and got to know me and we started talking deeply.
Yeah.
And like I was able to open up and tell you about my anxieties and and you really just saw me like that because my ADHD has been more, what's the word?
Oh, I know what you're trying to say. Your ADHD
People see my ADHD
hides
more.
your autism.
Yes.
ADHD hides your autism.
Yeah.
I've heard that. I've heard that's a thing.
Yeah. That's definitely true for me. And you only need 5 out of 18 to get diagnosed with ADHD in Ontario. So I got 18 out of 18. So we're the most. The doctor was really nice about it. He was like, he goes, okay, so first of all, I log into the Zoom and they're like asking me all these deep ass questions. And they're like, what do you want us to do for you today? And I'm like, you just asked me like the darkest questions of my life. I was like, ADHD diagnosis, please. And then hi Willow.
I know she
You
just
can
said
come
hi.
up here.
She just sniffed in your direction.
Willow says hi. I burped. I wonder if she smelled that.
Oh, probably. Wait, yeah, probably.
Okay, focus, Lauren. So I love the Zoom. Yeah, dark, but
He asked you the darkest questions ever.
yes, and then his assistant did. And then he was like, okay, so I'm just gonna watch you and have my assistant talk to you, and then I'm gonna let you know. And then he's like, then I'm gonna ask you questions, and I'll let you know what I think at the end. And I was like, okay. It was literally only 50 minutes long. I got mine for free, by the way, through Ontario Health Insurance.
Slay.
Basically, I made a TikTok about it, but basically you can contact your family doctor, tell them, they'll ask you like the basic questions. Have a list maybe prepared in case you blank, like I did. And then your family doctor will refer you to a psychiatrist who does free OHIP things, make sure you tell your family doctor that you want it for free. And then like if you have health insurance, I know like not everyone has health insurance. And then the psychiatrist's office will contact you to schedule your appointment. And then there you go. That's how you get a free one. And the ADHD waiting period was 2 months for me.
Way better than 2.5 years.
That's another reason why I decided to get ADHD first.
Yeah, apparently it's way easier to get diagnosed with ADHD than autism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was asking me all these questions. Then all of a sudden, like, I knew that he was asking me the criteria questions for ADHD because he was just like, do you get distracted easily? And I was like, yes. And he was like, one thing he said though, which I was like, whoa, which this has to do with like the stereotype of people thinking people with ADHD are lazy, is he goes, when you were in school, did teachers often tell you that you do better if you tried harder? Yes. Oh my God, yes. So annoying when they would do that. But yeah, and then at the end, he was like, this is what I meant by I diagnosed myself with OCD. He was like, yeah, so you definitely have ADHD, like 18 out of 18, so that's not hard. And he laughed with me and he was like, it's just because you get distracted easier. And like, he was nice about it. And then he said the thing about social anxiety disorder being like 50-50. He wasn't sure exactly yet. The only thing he was going off of was he asked me if I see someone I don't like in public, am I talking to them or am I avoiding them? And I said, I avoid people, even the ones that I'm good with.
That's very autism coded for sure.
And then I was like, can I ask you about anything else? Or is this just strictly ADHD? Because I didn't know because it was free. And he was like, general education, like you can't really ask me that because he has other patients. And I was like, I wanted to ask you about OCD. And he goes, oh, yeah, I think that fits for you. And I was like, I just diagnosed myself.
But the way he said, that's fitting for you.
It was like, he literally leaned back, he folded his hands,
love
and he
that
was
for
like,
you.
Yeah, he folded his hands. He was like, you know what? That fits you. Yeah. And I was like, okay. So I just diagnosed myself.
Okay,
awesome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We've been new.
Yeah, it was, but that was my journey with getting an ADHD diagnosis.
And how do you feel, Lauren Rice?
ADHD, like, yeah, whatever. Like, I've known my whole life, like, crazy girl. The OCD thing sent me down a spiral, though. Like, the OCD thing, like, it was way worse, especially the week that I found out. It was so bad. But now I'm starting to differentiate what's OCD and what's real. Realized I live a lot in my head with the OCD.
Yeah, because that's the diagnosis you weren't necessarily expecting, right?
No, I thought I was strictly just getting my ADHD diagnosis because I was like, this is free. Like, I'm not going to ask them if they can do anything else. Like, it's free.
When I got diagnosed with illness anxiety disorder, I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Like, it was the same feeling where I was like, okay, I'm going to start to freak out now. I'm going to start to freak out because I didn't even know that was an actual anxiety disorder. Like, I knew people had health anxiety. My own mom has health anxiety.
But you didn't know it was called a thing.
Yeah, I didn't know it was like actually a thing. And then I was like, oh, fuck, yes, this makes so much sense. But like, I hate it.
I know. Yeah, you went down a little hard path as well.
Yeah, like right after I got diagnosed, I like the month after I was like really struggling with my health anxiety because it just became so much more real to me. And like I started noticing everything that I was like thinking about and all the thoughts that I had that were like health anxiety related, and even my body image was tied to the health anxiety, and like, eating habits were, and like it seemed like every decision I was making, I was basing it off of like fear around like, is this gonna make me sick? Is this gonna,
You're feeling better now though?
I'm feeling better. Yeah. I like bought a book that my psychologist recommended. It's called Freedom from Health Anxiety. So I've been reading that book and doing like the exercises in the book, and that's been really helping. And exposure therapy is like one of the main things that helps with health anxiety. Like, talk about cancer. go to visit a hospital, book that doctor's appointment that you're scared of going to. You know, kind of those things. I think it's also just been hard because my family like 2 of my family members got diagnosed with cancer in the last like 2 years. One of them being my dad and my grandpa. So I think that has also just been, I haven't been able to like process that. And it's just kind of went to the back of my mind as like fear. Yeah. And like just thinking about, oh my God, like these people in my life might die. And like, yeah, it's really heavy. Like,
yeah.
I think I'm slowly processing it, but it's really hard. And I don't think I really talked about that online because it's like, it's a family thing. It's a family related thing, but it affects you. And like, if any of you have had family members get cancer, like, you know how scary it is. And just, you know, thinking about how you might get a phone call any minute that this family member has passed away. Like, it's just really, it's really mind fucking.
Yeah.
So anyways, that hasn't helped my health anxiety, but probably one of the triggers of it recently.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say for, I'm just like empathizing, like holding space because that's a lot to deal with.
No, it is. Thank you. That was heavy, guys.
Yeah. On a different note, I will say like, knowing that I was like 100% on my ADHD criteria, it's actually allowed me to like kind of like you said about your autism, like it's helped me kind of like validated myself to like, if I have a hard time paying attention in a conversation, like I'm not going to get really hard on myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's just how I am. And it also like allows me to like, if someone's like not really being patient with me, then that kind of shows on them to like honor myself more. So that's like that's good.
Yeah.
Like from my diagnosis.
I love that for us, for both of us.
Yeah. I also still want to emphasize that self-diagnosis is valid. Honestly, I don't even know if I would have gotten diagnosed if I wasn't interested in medication for my ADHD or my OCD for that matter, because I didn't even know that I was going to get diagnosed with that. Self-diagnosis is valid. Like there's tons of factors why people can't get diagnosed. There's just so many. Like financial burden being one of them, systemic racism, a lot of things. So if you continue to be self-diagnosed, you're always welcome here and you're valid.
Yeah. And Lauren, do you think that you will get diagnosed with autism, or are you going to stay self-diagnosed?
I'm chilling right now. I am on the wait list with Mr. Gay or Miss Dr. Gail. Sorry, Gail. I love you. But I don't know. It's not a priority right now. Like, I know I have it. Yeah.
And that's valid. That's
priority is making sure I got food on the table.
And we're going to Mexico.
Yes.
For our anniversary.
Yeah, for our 5-year wedding anniversary is this November.
Guys, can you believe that we've been married for 5 years already?
5 years.
Some people probably don't even know we're married until this very moment. And they're gonna comment, "Oh my God, where have I been living? Under a rock."
Yeah.
But now you know.
We got married in 2020.
Yes. Well, we did get married in secret. Like we didn't really make it like public until a year later. So like that's also on us.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Do not regret that decision. So
no, everything happened the way it was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Yay. So that is our diagnosis journey.
Yes.
Again, self-diagnosis is valid.
Still valid.
We want to answer your questions about autism, ADHD, OCD, anything that we can answer. We'd love to answer. Maybe we'll put a poll on our Instagrams.
Yeah.
So if you want to follow our Instagrams, mine is What's Up LAVREN. And what is yours, Keara?
Mine's Keara Graves, KearaGraves.
Yes. And you can follow Keara's YouTube, which is Keara Graves. And you can follow my TikTok, which is What's Up LAVREN as well. And Keara's TikTok is
Keara.Graves.
Yay.
And if you want to follow A Couple Queers, our podcast on Instagram,
yes,
it's at
A Couple Queers Pod.
There you go.
Yay. And it's also that on TikTok as well.
TikTok.
Comment below or DM us if you have any podcast ideas.
Questions, requests.
But this is your very queer, very neurodivergent friendly podcast. And we're so grateful that you joined us today. Yay. And we'll be seeing y'all more often.
Yes. Thank you so much for watching/listening. And we will see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Love
we
you
love
guys.
you. Mwah.